Hello and a warm welcome to a very special podcast series, SheDiaries. This is a series in conversation with trailblazing women from across the world, from South America to North America to Africa to Asia to Russia and India, of course. These are women who have reached certain levels of accomplishment, in fact, very high levels of accomplishment, smashing silos, breaking glass ceilings, and surmounting multiple odds during distinguished careers. They've left a template for young women and girls to follow. Their stories are stories of inspiration for young women and girls. My guest today for this episode is one such woman, Nupur Jhunjhunwala, Trustee and co-founder ChangeInkk. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You work in the area of neurodiversity. Besides that, you also work in related areas and much more. If I were to ask you a fundamental basic question, we are now in 2026, and compared to today, say if you look at 20 years ago, how equal has the world become?
That's a trick question because in many ways we've become a lot more equal.
Mm-hmm.
I think with gender we're doing a lot better. I think with language diversity we are doing a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
But we've also become very unequal in terms of when it comes to wealth distribution. We see poorer people getting poorer, richer people getting richer. You're seeing the diversity and divide between countries growing. But I've always been a person who likes to see the glass half full.
Right.
So I see a steady increase, maybe not in achieving all our equity goals, but an increase in the intention of becoming a more equitable society.
Mm-hmm.
I think we challenge notions of inequality a lot more now.
Mm-hmm.
We accept different aspects of diversity as well. So earlier life was a little bit easier. We spoke about gender, male, female. Now we have gender fluidity that we also look at. We had rich, poor, you have transitions in that. But most importantly for me, the ability to think and appreciate diversity of the mind.
Right.
Where there is no typical human, right?
In across industries, women are getting into entrepreneurship, which is a
Yes.
very encouraging sign, if I may
Yes.
say so. Compared to say 20 years ago, you will see more and more young women getting into entrepreneurship, and people, women also living their careers, professional careers in corporate jobs and starting out on their own. And we are also seeing many women now getting into what was once, what used to be described as male-dominated industries. In your view, that's a very encouraging sign and a very positive direction and progress. In your view, what do you attribute that progress to?
I think the intention.
Right.
I think India has done a tremendous job over the last 10 years with the intent to get girls not only in schools, but from schools to colleges, train them into employment pathways. In STEM subjects, we often see equity in the amount of girls that get their jobs from college placements as boys. That differentiation does not exist as much. It does exist, but not as much. It's narrowing the gaps. I also see that the next generation, because of the earlier generation being more exposed, that level of intent and ability in breaking stereotypes. I think programs like Beti Bachao,
Mm-hmm.
Beti Padhao has played a critical role in terms of how girls and their potential is looked at and the importance of moving girls out of the home. I also think surrounding things help, like safety, mobility has become a lot better.
Right.
Availability of hostels,
Right.
flexibility in time, those work from home opportunities, those continue to help. But leadership continues to be a challenge.
So when you started off in your own professional career, Did you come across any prejudices or biases
Oh,
because you were a woman, and have those disappeared?
of course, absolutely. I'm the first girl from my family to go abroad and study, to complete a master's, to have her own bank account that she runs on her own will and fancy, to have a job, an independent career. Um, I have to give it because I grew up in a time that was transitioning, so we saw a lot of it. Today, also, we see large parts of women empowerment leading to women marriage and what we consider marriageable material. Um, but I faced and continue to face mansplaining
Really?
when men look down on you and say, "Wait, let me explain to you what you're trying to say to me." And I find that very interesting. Um, I but
You find it interesting or you find it amusing?
I find it interesting because the place that the man comes from is power and knowledge, which to me is an interesting subject because
Right.
not necessarily, right? And I see men being able to do this more than women if they
Right.
know things.
There's a lot of conversation about women's empowerment,
Yes.
which is a good thing because the more you talk, the more empowerment it'll lead to. But what, in your view, does true empowerment actually mean in in a professional landscape in India?
You need to empower the boys and the men because they need to get used to the women in the system.
Right.
I think true empowerment will come only when that happens.
So it's about raising the boys more than about raising the girls.
It's about raising the girls, but also raising the boys to believe that, there is a world out there in which women have an equal chance and opportunity.
Right.
And you have to respect those and share those choices. What we've seen in my generation is we were empowered to get jobs, but at the same time, the burden of unpaid care, like at home, children, elderly, continue to be with us. But in the next generation, I'm seeing that shift where boys start believing that they have to have that chance. And I know a lot of boys today who learn how to cook, whereas the women don't. So I think
That's a
those,
good change that has
yeah,
happened.
so that kind of stereotype has to change because women won't be empowered or be able to act on that empowerment unless the men are there to share that burden.
Support systems play a very crucial role,
Absolutely.
and it is very important and essential uh, for a country like India, which is deeply complex, and there are layers and layers. There are social layers, there are economic layers. Uh, what role would you attach to mentorship if you want to empower more and more women to become independent in all senses?
I think mentorship and access to opportunities go hand in hand. And I know that I wouldn't be where I am today without my mentors. These mentors start in school, where you may have a teacher, a friend's parent, or a speaker who sort of ignites a thought in you, who mentors you. When I was young, I did a project on child labor when I was in eighth grade, and then I decided that I will leave education and go to Sivakasi to save the kids. And then I had a mentor then, a friend's father who worked in UNICEF, who
Okay.
turned around and told me, Nupur, what happens when those kids get out of the factory? I said, they will go to school, the families will take them back. And he's like, are you sure? Are you sure that those actions will actually result what you think it will based on your family background? I said, of course, why would it not? And he, as a mentor, accepting me as an immature 13-year-old, said, study it, come back to me. If you have that answer and you truly believe what you want to do, then I will take you to Sivakasi, right? And that's when I realized that impact has. That mentor at 13 has started me on a journey of impact,
Right.
right? To today, professional, personal, educational mentors every day challenge my thought process
Absolutely.
and give me the confidence that I have a solution that I can work on
Absolutely.
for that.
And finally, as we look into the future, what are the key shifts that you think should come about, both in policy and mindset and structures, etc., to create a more equal and equitable society?
I think accountability.
Hmm.
I think we need to start tracking accountability now. We have the policies in place, we have the intent in place, but now we need to start holding people accountable in stronger ways to ensure that that shift happens. That accountability lies in the family, It lies in the education system. It lies in the mentors. It lies in the financial institutions. And it lies in society overall. How do we hold each other accountable, not just from a legal perspective, that we are pushing us as an equitable society?
Absolutely. That's a wonderful note to end this conversation with. Thank you so much,
Thank
Nupur,
you so
for
much.
taking the time out and dropping by to have this conversation.
Thank you so much.